Hi everyone, it's Ray with the education team from Swirlydoos Kit Club, and today I want to share with you some ideas on how you can use this Viva Paper Soft. We recently got one of these in the mediums add-on for September. Most people got walnut brown, and I think some people had a substitution of stone gray. They're both excellent colors, so you're not missing out on anything. So I rarely hear of anyone using this paper soft. A lot of people haven't heard of it, or they're not quite sure if they want to get it. I know that when I first hear of a product, I always think, why do I need it? What makes it different from things that I already have? I absolutely need this. So I want to show you some things that you can do with it, and maybe you'll think that you need it. I know I love it so much, and I need every color. I only have 4, but that is soon to change. So the first thing I want to show you with these, my colors are limited, by the way. I have gray and brown, and I have a green and a pink. So I can't really do a lot of things that would be kind of pretty because I just have this one pink color. So a lot of the things I'm going to show you kind of look drab, but just keep in mind you can do these things with any colors, and they have a lot of different colors. So I think the first thing that I used this for was to distress the edges of my paper. So I'll show you what you can do. This is a tag that I made using the green, the moss green, and you can see in the middle it's pretty light, and you can go dark, and you can do this with every one of the colors, and this takes no effort, and I'll show you that in just a sec. That it's not like the Tim Holtz Distress inks where you have to keep rubbing and blending and blending and blending in order to get it this dark. You can get this dark in no time. So here is an example of a project that I actually made using this distressing the edges. And what I did is I somewhat created a vignette around this note card. When I first got the note card, and if you have the September kit and you've seen these Prima cards, you know this. This is what they look like on the edges. There's no distressing, there's no dark marks on there. And so I did that, and I distressed it with a distress tool, and then I went back over it and made it dark. So I'll show you how easy it is to do that. So I'm going to use walnut brown. And before I get started, I'll just tell you a little bit about this. This is liquid in the middle over here. And there are 2 pieces of foam in here. So you can push down and you can see the liquid. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up. But what you do is you just push it down and then you fill up your spouncer. Viva makes these specifically for Paper Soft. You can get things that are similar at Michael's, but they're not as dense. These are definitely worth the money to get. Okay, so I pushed a lot of that walnut brown Paper Soft on here, so I'm just going to push it on my craft sheet just to get rid of some of that. That's a lot. Wow. Okay. So then I will just start, and I use it the same way that I do with the Distress ink, the Tim Holtz Distress ink, is you start off the page and just kind of push it on. You can see that's pretty dark, so I'm going to be very light with this. I'm just going to go around, I'm going to go in a sweeping motion. And I still have a lot on there, so I'm just going to twist this off until I get some of it off. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to fade this, and I actually want to keep seeing the entire part of the rose, or most of it. So if I do the vignette and I sweep in here, it's going to be too dark. So I think that's enough to get off, I think. And that's how you can get the graduated look for a vignette. And then I would take my paper distresser, and this is just another option of what you can do. I won't do the whole thing, but if you liked that white look on the edges, that would be great. And if you didn't, you could just go back in and have it look distressed and still have it be dark on the edges. So that is one way that you can use Paper Soft. Okay, so another way that I was using this paper soft the other day when I was experimenting is that I know that the instructions say that you need to go in with this sponge and do a circular motion if you want to blend, but what if you didn't want to blend? If you just started doing this and just made lines, you could get this effect, and it kind of looks like wood. I think if I wanted to, I could maybe practice a little bit and get this to look like wood. If I kept doing it and covered up that manila part of the tag to where you couldn't see that color, I think it would still have a gradient effect and maybe look kind of like, I don't know, like leather or suede or something. So that's just another way that you can use it very quickly, just one color. So another way I like to use Paper Soft is to blend the colors together. On this tag I've used the gray and the pink. And I started out by using my light color first, my pink, and then I used the gray, and I went and just kept circling down in there. And that's just a light coat. You could keep going back in here and keep going and make it darker. Let's see, let's find my pink one. Like if that wasn't enough pink for me, I could go back in. I guess I want to be careful not to do my stamping, because that's the next thing that I did on here is I used the Paper Soft with a stamp. It comes out pretty crisp and really pretty. I'll just show you how quickly you can apply this color, how you can just make it as dark as you want. The pink is a little different from the gray and the walnut and the green that I've used, in that you can see a lot of the marks. It's probably because I'm using a smaller brush or smaller sponge. But once you get going, it does blend in. The more time you spend doing the swirls, the more blended it gets. You can see it already got a lot darker with the pink. And this stuff takes a while to dry. It usually takes about 20 minutes here in the dry climate. I think if you lived in a humid environment, it might take a little longer. So that's what it looks like if you're blending two different colors. Here's a tag that I made using the pink and the green graduated colors. And I also did the stamping. I did a stamp here, the one that you saw on the other tag, and I also did this frame tag that I'm covering up a lot. And what I did to get this look was that after I was done with the stamping, I just went back in with the pink, and then I went back in with the green just very slightly, and it makes it look like it's faded. So that's just another way that you can use it. I also used a mask. I used that Prima mask that has the different colors, the different sizes of circles. And then I did that too. So it kind of lifts up and looks faded right away if you go back in with another color. So another great way to use Paper Soft is to use it with stamps or stencils. Don't judge me for my Prima stencil. I got black gesso on there and I forgot about it. I couldn't get it off afterwards. So it looks kind of junky. Okay, so here's one that I've been working on. And what I like about using it with stencils is that it really works very well. You don't have to worry about the stencil coming up, especially with this round brush or the round sponge. I've done this with Distress inks a lot, and I find because it's a rectangle and it's got that corner that it lifts up a little bit, which sucks. So that doesn't happen with this. And so what I've been working on with this mask is that I've just been going very lightly to begin with, and then I've worked all the way down, going over it like this. So I love this graduated look. I think it looks so cool. But one of the other things that's really awesome about this Paper Soft is you can go back in over it if you didn't like the color that your background was, and you can just make it look more faded. Going back in with the green, so it's all going to be green. And that just gives it a different effect. I don't think you could do the same thing with any other inks or any other medium to go back over it and make it look lighter like that and change the background colors still. So that looks really great. I did that with this part too. I used a Prima mask again. It's the one, let me see if I can find it. It's this one. So I just put that on the edge and I used 2 different colors. And it looks kind of junky down here at the spot right here, but that's because I used the back side of the tag. But I used the pink here for the rose, and then I used the green, obviously, for the different swirls. And then I went back over the whole thing with green just to give it a different color, just to give it sort of a faded look. It makes the image not so crisp. And I did this one when it was still somewhat wet, so it looks a little bit different than that, but it still looks really cool. And the last way I'm going to show you to use Paper Soft is just very simple. It's probably the most simple way, and it is to just color your embellishments. I use the pink to color this lace right here. And it's very simple. I mean, it's no brainer here. You just go over it. It takes a few minutes to dry. You can do a graduated look with it like I did. It's going from the cream color to the pink. You can also use it on your flowers. Here's another white flower that I used. And it's got the pink on there. I also used it to shade these frames on this card right here. These were just wood, and then I used the walnut on there using the little sponge and just going over the edges. And I also used it on the flowers here just to kind of tone them down a little bit because they were pretty bright, so I made them look a little dirty. And I also used the green Paper Soft on here. What I did is, this is just chipboard, and I colored it with gesso. And after it was dry, I took the green Paper Soft and I just bounced it on there. You can see it's darker here. It's because I wanted it to be like that. You can also shade it like I did these feathers on this tag that I already showed you. All I did was take the green and I just put it on the outside and shaded it in. And this is a box that I'm not finished with yet, but I'm in the process of making. I've got a lot of stuff from the kit on there and some things that aren't from the kit, but I used Paper Soft on everything. I actually used the brown here to shade, and I used it on this ribbon down here to make it look kind of worn. And I used it on the frames here. We had got some gold paint that came in the kit, and I used that, and I also used some of my other Viva paint, which is the Precious Metal in Blue Lagoon. And so I used both of these paints on this frame right here, and then I took the brown Paper Soft after it was dry and just dulled it down. So it's really good for that. And where else did I use it on here? And I think that's it. That's all I used it on there. But you get the idea. You can use it on everything. If you color it with gesso, like that's the other thing I wanted to show you, is that I painted this with gesso first, and I used that brown Paper Soft. It came out kind of yellowy and matched perfectly with the paper, so I was excited about that. And you can do 1,000 things with it. I mean, I hope that this is a good idea to get you started, at least to make you try it out. It's a lot different from any other medium that you have in that it has very versatile uses. And I think that it's somewhat like Distress ink. It's most like, out of all of the products that I have, the Distress ink, but it's really different because it's more liquid. I think it has better shade ability to make a gradient look and to do the different colors, and that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have a way that you like to use this, we'll open this up on the forums and you can share your ideas with us for that. And be sure to go to swirlydoos.com and check out our community. We have a wonderful community full of fun ladies. We're always having a lot of fun on the boards. And we have tons of tutorials. We're working up to about 200 video tutorials. We have photo tutorials all over on the website. So if you are not a member of Swirlydoos, you need to be a member of Swirlydoos. So please check us out. Thanks for watching.